Hey, what if I told you the biggest thing standing between you and your finished book is not the fact that you don't have time to write it? It's not the fact that you don't have the best tools. It's not even your talent or your ability, your chops as a writer. I've become convinced the biggest thing holding us back from finishing our books is our mindset. Mindset is this invisible force that can either fuel your writing or completely sabotage it. But the good news is your mindset can be rewired. You have the ability to influence this powerful force. And today we're going to talk about how. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome into today's episode. Again, today we're going to talk about mindset and how powerful it is for writers and how we have the ability to shape and mold our mindset to find incredible success in our writing journeys. For years and years, I had this desire, this dream to write a book. I knew I wanted to write. I even had ideas of what I wanted to write, but for a long time, I never took any action on it because I didn't think I could. I didn't think I had what it takes. I didn't think I had the ability. I didn't think I had the time. And quite frankly, I didn't think I belonged in that category of authors. All that changed for me one day when I was having a conversation with some friends. I was at a friend's house watching college basketball. And during the course of the conversation, the topic of books and writing came up, and I was there with a friend of mine who was an author who had a couple of published books already. Super creative, super smart guy. And I remember saying at one point, I've always thought about writing a book. And I kind of expected this guy to talk me off the ledge and say, well, yeah, that's cool, man, but like writing a book's really hard. There's a lot that goes into it. Are you sure you want to do this? But that's not what he said at all. He immediately, as soon as I floated the idea of writing a book, he said, "Oh, you should." And I was a little bit surprised, so I kind of backed off a little bit. But I said, "Well, I don't know, man. Maybe this is not an original thought. Like maybe this book's already been written." And I was really giving him the opportunity to like say, "Hey, it's cool, man. Like shut me down. Like reaffirm the idea that I have in my mind that I don't belong in this conversation." But again, that's not what he did. He got really serious and he looked at me, and I don't know if this physically happened or not, but it felt like he grabbed me by the shoulders and said, "Man, you are the only person who can write your book. The world needs what you have to offer. So you got to write the thing." And I remember in that moment just feeling this incredible shift of like, maybe finally I'm convinced that, you know what, I can do this and I should do this. Now, I didn't do it right away. It took me a little while before I actually started writing, but I always look back to that moment as the time where I felt like someone else finally invited me into this world of art and creativity and really gave me permission to do the thing that I've always wanted to do. I had a major mindset shift, and that mindset shift changed everything. I believe if it happened to me, I believe that it can happen to you as well. So if you've always wanted to write a book, maybe you're thinking of writing something, but you haven't got it started yet, or maybe you're just getting into it, but you're struggling with doubts. This episode is for you. I have three big points that I want to share with you today and kind of some sub points underneath each one. The very first point is that your mindset is the foundation of everything you will build as an author. It does not matter how much money you invest in writing software, writing classes, writing books. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you invest. It doesn't matter how much time you spend writing. It doesn't even, frankly, matter how good of a writer you are. If you don't have the right mindset, you are absolutely going to fail when it comes to your writing. Your thoughts are going to shape your habits no matter what. Like, this is true in all of life. But I want to consider just a fictitious example if we could. Imagine two guys who are really similar, like they're similar stage of life, similar family situation, similar demands on their time. Both of them have the idea that they want to write a book. Let's call them Bob and Joe. And Bob, when he thinks about this idea of writing a book, his first thought is, I could never do that. Nobody's going to read this thing anyway. But Joe, when he has the idea of writing a book, he says to himself, my words really matter, and I think they're going to resonate with somebody. Which of these two men do you think is going to have greater success in their book? It's got to be Joe, right? It's the one who believes in himself. Because I've seen this again and again and again. Our mindset informs so much of our activity. It informs so much of our success. Again, you can have all the time, talent, and tools in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset, things are not going to go well. The guy who says, oh, this isn't going to mean anything, It's never going to happen for me. No one's going to read it. That's going to lead to procrastination. But the person who believes in himself and says, my words matter, that's going to lead to action. He's actually going to make it happen. So that's the first thing. Your thoughts shape your habits. The next is your confidence is not something that you wait for, it's something that you create. I think a lot of us have this tendency to sit back and say, I'm struggling with some doubt, I'm struggling with some fear. I'm going to wait until I'm a little more confident before I get started. But that, friends, is a trap. You are not going to build confidence by sitting on the sidelines. Your confidence gets built by getting in the game. We think that once we get to these results, then we're going to have confidence. But the truth is, you'll never get to results without the repetition. So let me encourage you, if you have thought about writing, but you have not started, today is the day, friend, for you to roll up your sleeves, break out that pen and paper, your laptop, whatever the case might be, and get those words on the page. The more you do that, the more it's going to become second nature, the more you're going to prove to yourself that you do have what it takes, and you'll start to gain that confidence through repetition. Here's another thing to consider. Every book you've ever read, your favorite book, was written by someone who likely at some point struggled with doubt and fear. Your mindset is not about removing fear, it's about persevering in the face of it. So I've heard this definition of courage before, and I just love it. A lot of people think that courage is somebody who doesn't have any fear at all. But actually, being courageous is persevering and doing what you believe is right, even in the face of fear. And that's what I'm calling us to today as writers, because the truth is, there's always going to be an element of fear. There's always going to be an element of what if this doesn't work out? But I think we should start to reframe it and ask ourselves, you know what if it does work out? What if things go according to my wildest dreams when it comes to the success I'm looking for with this book? You'll never know that unless you start taking action, unless you start to put in those reps and start working toward this big goal that you have. It's never going to come to fruition. So build that confidence through repetition and understand that you are not alone in your doubts and fears. Every writer has struggled with this. Indeed, every human at some point has struggled with doubt and fear. But the ones who find the greatest success are those who persevere in the face of it. So number one, your mindset is the foundation for everything you're going to build as a writer. I truly, truly believe that. Point number two, your brain can be rewired to help you write and to not hold you back. So your mindset, I mentioned at the top of the episode, it can be your greatest enemy, or it can be your biggest ally when it comes to finding success in your writing. There's a concept, and maybe you've heard of this concept, called neuroplasticity. This is really good news for us as writers. It essentially means that your brain literally changes through repetition. As you start to have new thoughts, your brain develops new neural pathways and kind of creates these new ruts that it gets itself into where things become second nature. This is true with physical activity, but it's also true with your thought life as well. So when I was in high school, I was on the football team. And one of the things that we did in practice every day, we would, at the very beginning of practice, we would all line up in our stance, and we would, at the whistle or the snap of the football, we would take this short 6-inch jab step. And then we would get back in our stance. And then coach blew the whistle and we took the step again. And we did this over and over. We probably took this same step 100 times a day at practice. Why? Because we're developing muscle memory. We're developing these kind of neural pathways where we get it. The first thing we do, we get in this stance, we wait for the signal. And when that signal happens, this is always the first thing we do. And so when it came to game time, Friday nights, where, we're in front of all the fans and the game's on the line, we don't have to think about what step to take. We know what to do, and we do it instinctively because it's been practiced, it's been repeated, it's been ingrained, and it's become second nature. The same is true with our mindset. And I'm afraid that for many of us, we've developed these muscle memories in our brain of, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to make it. Nobody's going to read my writing. And the more we say these things to ourselves, the more we start to believe them. And so that's where kind of mindset shifts can start to come in play. I believe that affirmations and mindset shifts are not fluff. They are tools that can have a powerful impact on our success in writing. And so one of the things I've mentioned on this podcast before is a book by John Acuff called Soundtracks. So if you don't know John, he's an author and a keynote speaker. He's got a lot of great content that he puts out. I would encourage you to check him out. But one of the things that I love about John's work is his book Soundtracks. And in this book, he talks about these repetitive thoughts that we all have playing in our daily lives, right? And some of them are what John calls broken soundtracks. So these are things like, I'm never going to make it. Nobody cares what I have to say. This isn't going to work out. And unfortunately, the more we repeat those, the more true they become in our lives. They often sometimes become something of self fulfilling prophecies. But John suggests, and I think science also would confirm, that we have the ability to rewire our brains and reshape what some of those soundtracks are. So he would encourage us to retire those broken soundtracks, replace them with new ones, and then repeat those new soundtracks until they become as second nature as some of the old ones. This is something that I've put into practice, and it really, truly does work. And I would encourage you to do it as well. Remember the football jab step? Like, we did that every single day, and it just became second nature. The same is true with your mindset. So think about, if you show up to write, some of us maybe are perfectionists and we think, well, if I don't write the perfect scene, it's not worth writing. That's a broken soundtrack. You could retire that one and replace it with, hey, I just want to show up today and write one scene that might have an impact on someone. And that can reframe your entire writing session. It can reframe your entire day. So I want to encourage you, if you need some help with this, I created a guide called Mindset Resets for Writers. These are 20 of what I believe are really common broken soundtracks that we might listen to. And I've created examples of reframes of what we can replace those with. Certainly, you feel the freedom to make these your own, but these are examples from my own life and from conversations I've had with other writers. I think it might be helpful for you. You can get that for free at tcbird.com. Maybe it'll jumpstart you in this process. I want to encourage you to, like, your inner critic is sometimes really loud, and especially the loudest maybe at the beginning, but don't mistake this volume of fear for what's actually true. It gets quieter when you start to get into motion. And so again, sit down, start doing the work, believe in the long-term goal, start making progress, because what that will do is when that inner critic starts to raise his voice again, now you have objective evidence that you can point back to and say, no, 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 look how far I've come. See what I've done. And you can really kind of just reaffirm some of the positive things that you're thinking about yourself and about your writing. And again, you can see how this thing will start to snowball a little bit. So again, point number one, your mindset is the foundation of everything you'll ever build as an author. Number two, your brain can be rewired to help you instead of hold you back in your writing. And number three, let's get a little bit practical. How to start shifting your mindset today. So I mentioned the book Soundtracks by John Acuff. I would encourage you to go buy that and check it out. But the big thing there, the big takeaway for me on that one was to identify those broken soundtracks and then retire them, replace them, repeat them until they become as second nature as the old ones. So I want to encourage you to do that. So over the next couple of days, maybe the next 3 days, take track of the thoughts that are stopping you. So keep maybe a thought audit. Maybe if you got a journal or the notes app in your phone, over the next 3 days, just notice some of those thoughts that you have, some of those broken soundtracks that maybe you have playing in your own life. You can do this as it pertains to your writing or really just any area of life. But I'd love for you to write those down and start to think about, like, what are some of the themes? What are some of the patterns that are starting to emerge here? What are some of the doubts that I have about myself? What are some of the things that are holding me back when it comes to my writing or my creativity? Put them into buckets and start to recognize, hey, there's some patterns and themes here. And then think about how you might reframe those, retire those old ones, replace them, and repeat the new ones until they become second nature as well. Again, if you want help with that, I've got some mindset resets that I've created. You can get for free at tcbird.com. I would love for you to download those. And then maybe just think about reframing one of those. So as you start to think about, here's kind of a big area where I'm struggling, think about how can you reframe that into something that's a little bit more positive? Because again, I think that can make all the difference. And then I would encourage you once again to start making progress on your writing. So you're not going to gain confidence by sitting on the sidelines. I want you to get words on the page. And so maybe for you, it's as simple as setting a timer and creating a 5-minute writing ritual where you just sit down and hit go and you write for 5 minutes. Not looking for a specific word count. Maybe it's not even on your book, but you're just getting words on the page so that you can start to stack up some success for yourself. I would encourage you to do that. Maybe you want to be a little more ambitious and you say, no, I'm ready to dive in and make serious progress on my novel. Awesome. I've created a guide that can help you with this. It's called 30K in 30 days. I created this writing challenge for folks who want to make serious progress on their book. And so, in this, it's a 4 week self guided PDF where I will walk you through step by step how to set a goal, how to track your progress, how to kind of keep going in your writing when things get hard. I've got writing prompts in there, other resources that you can connect to. It's really good. I would encourage you to check that out. You can get that again for free at pages.tcburr.com. I would love for you to have that as my gift to you. So, in conclusion, writing a book takes a ton of courage, but you don't have to wait for that courage to come. You build that courage through repetition. Remember, courage doesn't mean moving forward without fear. It means moving forward with what you know you're called to do, even despite that fear. You can train your brain to work with you, not against you. Your mindset can stop being your biggest enemy when it comes to your writing. It can become your biggest ally. You have the ability to make these changes. If you've practiced some of these resets, I think it can make a huge difference. Friend, you are not broken. You have what it takes. You're learning. You're on a journey, and that is a perfect place to be. So I want you to hear me say, you are not behind. You haven't missed your shot. You're right where you need to be. Today is a great day to get started and to keep going. So, wherever you are in your journey, I want you to hear this. Keep writing, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.